You have been deceived your whole life about the true meaning of strength. They told you that power, money, or control are the keys to becoming invincible, but Stoic philosophy reveals the opposite. The more you cling to things beyond your control, the weaker you become. True strength does not come from mastering the world, but from mastering yourself. When you learn to control your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, nothing can defeat you. Life may throw storms at you, but if your mind remains firm, you will stay standing. I'm here to help. Today, I will share 7 Stoic principles distilled from real experiences, lessons on how to master your mind to become stronger. So, focus. Don't miss any part, because a single shift in mindset can transform you from someone easily influenced to someone unshakable. Number 1. Control your perception. Control your reality. The mind is the greatest battlefield we face as human beings. It's not the external world, nor our circumstances, but what happens inside us that ultimately determines everything. Every day, tens of thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. Ask yourself, do you control them, or do they control you? When the mind is ungoverned, it turns you into a prisoner of your own thoughts, trapped in panic, driven by fleeting emotions, and defeated by impulsive decisions. A chaotic mind generates chaotic actions. A disciplined mind generates powerful actions. Success is not a matter of luck. Successful people master their thoughts. Look at the great figures of history, from Emperor Marcus Aurelius and the philosopher Epictetus to today's great leaders. They do not let the external world dictate their destiny. When everything around them turns to chaos, they turn inward, mastering their perception and with it, their actions. They do not get carried away by momentary emotions, nor are they shaken by criticism. I used to be easily influenced by what happened around me. As a child, I let criticism discourage me. As I grew, small failures drowned me in doubt. But then I realized that my worth was not determined by others, only by me. I vividly remember being in a critical moment, feeling like the world was against me. I had 2 choices: give in to fear or take control of my thoughts, face the situation objectively, and act. I chose the second option, and for the first time, I felt the power of a disciplined mind. You can change your reality now. The first step is to become aware of your thoughts. When a negative thought arises, don't let it control you. Observe it like a cloud passing in the sky. Acknowledge it, but don't cling to it. Ask yourself, does this thought serve me? If not, let it go. Imagine a fighter in the ring. If he panics and lets emotions take over, he will be defeated. But if he remains calm, studies his opponent, and controls every move, he has a chance to win. Life is no different. If you let your mind wander aimlessly, you will be a victim of it. But if you learn to master your perception, you will turn your mind into your greatest weapon. Start with small things. In the morning, don't let the first negative thought invade your mind. Instead, take control. Tell yourself, today is a day to train my mind and grow stronger. When faced with a challenge, don't react impulsively with emotion. Stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how else can I see this? By doing this, you're not only controlling your thoughts but also your actions and ultimately, the outcomes of your life. I have learned that mastering the mind is not an innate talent but a skill built through practice. No one is born with an unshakable mind. It is shaped day by day, challenge by challenge, failure by failure, and victory by victory. But if you commit to training it and persist every day, you will see a transformation. You will notice that calm replaces anxiety, determination overcomes panic, and most importantly, you will feel true freedom, the kind of freedom that comes from within. I'm not here to tell you that this journey will be easy. There will be days when you want to give up, when your mind returns to chaos. But remember, mastering your mind is like taming a wild horse. At first, it resists, fights, and tries to break free. But if you are patient and don't give in, it will learn to obey. And one day, instead of dragging you in every direction, it will become the force that propels you forward at full speed. Do you want to be stronger? Start today. Control your perception, and you will control your reality. Train your mind as a warrior sharpens his sword, little by little, every day. And one day, when you look back, you will see how much you have changed. You will have become the strongest version of yourself. Realizing that you can control your mind is just the beginning. To truly master it, it is not enough to be aware of it. You must continue the journey. In the next steps, we will explore how to turn this awareness into action, and from there, reshape your reality. Number 2. True freedom. Just the sound of this word carries pride, a dream pursued by all. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, are you truly free? Do you control your thoughts, or are you driven by your emotions? Do you command your actions, or do you merely react to what happens around you? If every morning feels like a battle just to get out of bed, if you know what you need to do but keep procrastinating, if you give in to temptations without resistance, you may have never experienced true freedom. Epictetus once said, "No man is free if he is not master of himself." We often think of freedom as the ability to do whatever we want, but without discipline, are we really choosing, or are we just being guided by impulses? A person who cannot overcome laziness, who constantly gives in to fleeting desires, and who refuses to do what needs to be done just because they don't feel like it, are they truly free? Or are they trapped in an endless cycle of delay and regret? Have you ever felt trapped, not physically, but within your own mind? You want to evolve, learn, and build a better life, but there's always that voice whispering, "You can do it tomorrow. You're not ready yet. What if you fail?" It's like a lion raised in captivity. One day, the cage door opens, but it doesn't leave. It has grown used to its limits, to guaranteed meals, forgotten its instincts, forgotten that it was once the king of the jungle. It is no longer free. It is a prisoner, even without chains. And we are the same. The shackles of bad habits, procrastination, and fear are invisible but stronger than any physical prison. They keep us stagnant, afraid to move forward, to challenge ourselves, to face life head-on. The truth is, no one can do this for you. No one can train your mind. No one can pull you out of inertia. No one can make you stronger except you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine a warrior on the battlefield. He cannot control the arrows flying toward him, nor predict when the enemy will attack. But he can control his mind, stay calm, think clearly, and make the right decisions. Life is also a battlefield. We cannot predict what will happen, but we can always choose how to react. And mental discipline is the weapon that keeps us steady instead of letting us fall into the chaos around us. Those who live only by inspiration feel passion today and indifference tomorrow. But those who have discipline remain firm, even on the dullest days. We will not always be motivated, but discipline keeps us moving forward, even when our emotions resist. Are you willing to accept a challenge right now? Take a piece of paper and write down one thing that, if practiced with discipline, would change your life. Maybe it's waking up earlier, exercising daily, learning a new skill, or simply reducing useless distractions. Now make a commitment to yourself. I will do this, not because I feel like it, but because I know it is the right thing to do. Don't wait for inspiration. It is unstable. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They will never come. Start now. Do what needs to be done, not what is easy. Discipline is not a restriction. It is the greatest act of self-love. If you truly love yourself, you will not allow procrastination, bad habits, or empty desires to drown you. You will train your mind to become stronger, to become freer. Freedom does not come from indulgence, but from self-mastery. It is not about doing whatever you want, but having the power to not do what you shouldn't. And only when you truly control yourself can you truly take control of your life. Number 3. The 3 golden principles for mastering your mind. I have always considered awareness, choice, and discipline to be the 3 essential pillars of an unshakable mind. When you truly master them, You stop being a small boat drifting in the currents of fate and become the captain, steering with unwavering determination. When the world wavers, when adversity approaches, you do not falter, because your strength does not come from external circumstances, but from what exists within your own mind, a mind that nothing can break. First, let's talk about awareness. Are you truly awake? Imagine walking through a forest and suddenly seeing a venomous snake right in front of you. Your heart races, your body freezes, sweat drips, until you realize it was just a rope lying on the path. What happened? Your own mind deceived you. We do not live in reality, but in how we perceive it. The same event can drive one person to despair and inspire another to overcome challenges. When Epictetus said, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them," he was not just sharing a philosophy. He was revealing one of life's greatest secrets. Reality has no power over you. It is how you interpret it that defines your destiny. How do you escape the trap of distorted thoughts? Try this simple exercise. Observe your mind as a spectator. Whenever you feel anxiety, anger, or fear, don't blindly accept what your mind tells you. Step back and ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just a story I'm telling myself? When you start observing instead of getting lost in your thoughts, you realize that most of your fears, worries, and frustrations are mere illusions. And once you break through that illusion, your world changes forever. Now, I want to talk about your choices. Many people believe they are victims of circumstances, that life is predestined, and that they have no control at all. But this is one of the greatest lies the human mind has ever created. You may not control a difficult boss, the economy, or someone's betrayal, but you can control how you respond to these situations. You can choose anger, choose despair, or choose to see things differently. And this is where you are more powerful than you think, because no one can take that choice away from you. Every day, you face hundreds of moments that require a reaction, a harsh criticism, a condescending look, a failure. Remember, the moment you feel the urge to react impulsively, you have a choice. A choice to respond in a better way. Next time you feel angry or discouraged, ask yourself, will this reaction make me stronger? If the answer is no, then why allow it to control you? Finally, let's talk about discipline. True strength does not come from fleeting motivation, but from consistent action, repeated countless times, regardless of how you feel. A warrior does not wait to be motivated to train. He trains even when he is tired, unmotivated, and unwilling. Imagine yourself standing in front of the mirror every morning. Do you have the courage to look into your own eyes and say, "Today, I will control my mind, no matter what happens"? Don't wait for life to get easier. Start now, even when you feel exhausted and discouraged. Mastering your own mind is not an abstract concept. It is a real battle, and the most important one of your life. Will you continue allowing your mind to be dragged by worries, imaginary fears, and impulsive emotions, or will you make a firm decision and say, "From now on, I am in control"? It may seem difficult, you may think you're not ready. But the truth is, no one is ever truly ready when they begin. The only necessary step is to start now, with a single action. Recognizing a negative thought and questioning it. Controlling a reaction and transforming it. Forcing yourself to do what is right, even when you don't feel like it. Are you ready to take control of your mind, overcome your own limits, and become stronger than ever? If the answer is yes, commit now. Number 4. The difference between reaction and response. There comes a time in life when we find ourselves on the fine line between emotional turbulence and unshakable serenity. An offense, an unexpected failure, a sudden crisis. These moments always present us with two choices, reacting impulsively or responding rationally. This is the fundamental difference between action and reaction, an essential principle of Stoicism that allows us to master the mind and grow stronger. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The events of life hold little importance compared to how we choose to face them. Imagine you're driving, and suddenly someone cuts you off abruptly. Your instinctive reaction might be anger, shouting, honking aggressively. But a controlled response would be to take a deep breath, recognize that anger won't change anything, and continue driving safely. This not only preserves your peace of mind, but also prevents the consequences of a rash decision. Have you ever felt hurt by someone's words? Have you ever allowed a small incident to ruin your entire day? When someone insults you, is it the words themselves that hurt, or your interpretation of them? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if something external afflicts you, the pain does not come from the thing itself but from your judgment of it, and this you can revoke at any moment. Suffering does not come from external events, but from how we perceive them. You always have the power to change your perspective and choose how to react. So how can we replace impulsive reactions with conscious responses? First, stop. Give yourself a moment to breathe and think. The Stoics call this the space between stimulus and response. When emotions arise, this is precisely when self-control is most needed. No one can force you to react immediately. Only you decide how you will respond. Second, ask yourself, does this really matter? Imagine yourself 10 years from now looking back at this moment. Will it still make a difference? If the answer is no, let it go. If it is yes, respond with reason, not emotion. Third, remember that although you cannot control the world, you can control yourself. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Our fears, our anger, and our anxieties are often amplified by our minds, not by the facts themselves. If we can master our mind, we can master our life. A friend of mine was once fired from a job to which he had dedicated years. At first, he was consumed by anger and despair, blaming the company and seeing himself as a victim of injustice. But then he realized that, while he couldn't change the decision, he could control his reaction. Instead of sinking into frustration, he decided to develop new skills, seek new opportunities, and in the end, found a job where he truly felt fulfilled. This wouldn't have happened if he had only reacted emotionally. It happened because he chose to respond rationally. We all face moments of adversity, but remember, we are not victims of circumstances. We are the creators of our responses. You can allow anger, fear, and frustration to dominate you, or you can choose calm, clarity, and strength. Train yourself not to be carried away by the winds of life's storms, but to take the helm of your own ship. When the storm comes, don't be the leaf blown by the wind. Be the rock that remains firm against the waves. Because what truly makes you strong is not what happens to you, but how you choose to respond. Now, congratulations. You've made it halfway, and that alone already demonstrates your perseverance and determination. But don't stop here, because the most essential part is yet to come. Every minute from now on will help you refine your understanding and strengthen your mind. Stay with me until the end, because that's where you'll find the most practical strategies to turn this awareness into real power. Number 5. Embrace difficulties to build true resilience. Life is a relentless arena, and only true warriors can stand until the end. But there is a truth that few dare to face. Your greatest enemy is not the outside world, nor your circumstances, nor even your critics. It is the weakness of your own mind. If you do not train your resilience, if you do not accept that difficulties are an inevitable part of life, you will always be a prisoner of your circumstances. Have you ever wondered why the sharpest blades must endure the heat of the forge and the impact of the hammer? Because if metal cannot withstand the fire, it is nothing more than useless scrap. The same applies to people. If you do not expose yourself to challenges, if you do not face adversity head-on, you will always be a weaker version of yourself. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show a person's character." So when problems arise, think of yourself as a fighter who has been given a strong opponent, as if a great coach is preparing you to become an Olympic champion. Every obstacle that appears is not a punishment but a test, a chance to prove your strength. However, the tragedy is that most people give up before the fight even begins. Take an honest look at your own life. When things get tough, what is your reaction? Do you complain, curse your luck, and surrender to self-pity? Or do you grit your teeth, endure, and keep going? When someone hurts you, do you let the pain make you bitter, or do you use that experience as fuel to grow? In the face of failure, do you give up, or do you stand up and try again? These choices define who you are. If you want to master your mind, you must start by embracing difficulties instead of running from them. There is a truth that few recognize. Suffering is, in fact, a privilege. It is a gift reserved for those who are courageous enough to accept it. If you have never felt pain, never been pushed to your limit, never spent sleepless nights battling yourself, then you have not truly lived. You have merely existed. And that is the scariest thing of all. Look at the great figures in history. They did not become strong by living in comfort. Legendary warriors were not forged in easy battles. Great leaders did not emerge from peaceful lives. Resilient souls were not formed without challenges. They threw themselves into the storms, faced the pain that others avoided, and turned adversity into the foundation of their strength. If today you feel exhausted, unmotivated, or on the verge of giving up, stop and ask yourself, is this my chance to grow? Can I turn this pain into power? Am I capable of standing up once more and proving that I am not so easily defeated? Seneca said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests strong men." If you are struggling, it means you are being shaped. If you are feeling pain, it means you are evolving. If you can endure today, tomorrow you will become unbreakable. Do not seek the easy path. Do not expect life to be kind to you. Step into the fire and allow it to strengthen you. Embrace the storms and let them teach you how to stand firm. Face the pain and let it transform you into someone so strong that even adversity will fear you. But if you are ready for this challenge, if you have chosen to throw yourself into the fire and forge a better version of yourself, there is something else you need to understand. You cannot wait for the perfect moment to act. Life will not pause to create ideal conditions for you. If you keep waiting for the winds to calm, you will never set sail. If you wait until everything is ready, you will remain stagnant forever. So, what is truly stopping you from starting? Let's move on to the next lesson, where you will learn to abandon hesitation and harness the power of action right now. Number 6. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Have you ever postponed something important in your life simply because you did not feel ready? You wait for the perfect moment, the ideal conditions, the absolute confidence, only to realize that time keeps passing while you remain in the same place. Often, we trap ourselves in the illusion that one day, when everything aligns, we will finally begin. But that day never comes. Perfection is an unattainable concept, and that is exactly why you must act now. Seneca said, "While we wait for life, life passes." Life waits for no one. We tell ourselves that tomorrow will be a fresh start, but in reality, if we do not start today, tomorrow will only be a repetition of today. Do you want change? Do you want to become stronger? Then start now, regardless of the circumstances. Imagine a man who dreams of writing a book. He has ideas, he has passion, but he waits for the right moment, the ideal free time, the perfect environment to write. The result? He never writes a single word. Meanwhile, another person, even with just 1 hour a day and a cramped space to work, dedicates himself and puts his ideas on paper. In a year, he completes his book. The difference between the two lies in one simple but powerful principle: there is no better time to start than now. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only thing under our control is our own actions, not external conditions. Epictetus emphasized, first, tell yourself who you want to be. Then do what needs to be done. Do you want to be resilient? Train now. Do you want to learn something new? Start today. Do you want to change your life? Take action immediately. Do not let circumstances define who you are. Let your actions do that. I once heard the story of a marathon runner. When he started training, he had no proper running shoes, no coach, no ideal conditions. But instead of waiting, he ran every day with worn-out shoes, studied on his own, and trained wherever possible. The result? He not only completed the race, but became one of the most resilient runners I have ever known. He did not wait for perfect conditions. He created opportunities out of what he had. And you, what are you waiting for? What have you been putting off in your life just because you do not feel good enough, strong enough, or ready enough? Stop now and ask yourself, can I take a small step today? The answer will always be yes. Whether it is improving your body, developing a skill, or simply putting on paper that idea you have carried for years, you can always do something now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you have 10,000 years to waste. Death is at your side. Do something of value while you live, and it is within your power." Our time is not infinite. If you keep waiting, you will only waste the precious days you still have. Take action. Live with purpose. Embrace the power of the present moment. You do not need to wait for tomorrow to start. You do not need perfect conditions to grow. You do not need to be completely ready to take the first step. Act now with what you have. Life is not about what you possess, but about what you do with what you already have to create change. Do not wait another second. Everything you need is already within your reach at this very moment. Take the first step with courage and determination. Action is not something you promise for tomorrow. It is something you must do now. Prove to yourself that you do not need ideal conditions to start, because it is your commitment that builds the path ahead. Number 7. Let go of the results. Have you ever watched a wave breaking on the shore, dissolving into the sand, and then rising again? The wave doesn't care how many times it disappears, because that is its nature. It doesn't hesitate, judge, or feel defeated when the land swallows it. It simply keeps moving, as if nothing in the world could shake it. Stoic thinking is like that wave. We are not defined by results. We are not victorious just because we win, nor are we failures because we lose. We are beings of action, not consequences. If you understand this, you will never be defeated. Where do you believe success lies? At the finish line? In medals, applause, or numbers in a bank account? If you think that way, you are imprisoning yourself. When results become the only thing that matters, you are playing a game whose rules you do not control. Your happiness and self-worth are at the mercy of chance, where luck dictates the outcome. But what if you let go of these chains? What if you stopped worrying about the result and focused only on the one thing you can truly control, yourself? That is true freedom. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." The more you cling to the outcome, the more you become a prisoner of it. The more you let go, the stronger you become. Think of a fighter in the ring. He cannot control the referee or decide whether the crowd will cheer or boo him. He cannot prevent his opponent from landing a punch on his weakest spot. But he can control his movements, his breathing, and his reaction to every moment. If he fights only to win, he will be tense, afraid, and make mistakes. But if he fights for the sake of fighting, for the moment itself, he becomes invincible, regardless of the result. Maybe you're thinking, but I want to win. I want to succeed. Of course, who doesn't? But it is precisely that obsession with victory that leads to failure. When you focus only on the outcome, you lose sight of the path. You worry so much about the finish line that you don't even realize when you take the wrong direction. Anxiety takes over, doubt grows, and in the end, you are no longer yourself. Change your perspective. Stop thinking of success as a destination. See it as a companion on the journey, one that only appears when you stop chasing it. Success doesn't come to those who pursue it desperately, but to those who focus on mastering themselves. Free yourself from what you cannot control. Focus on what is within your reach. You can be the wave in the ocean, the fighter in the ring. You can be the one who understands that results don't matter, only the journey does. You can let go of the fear of failure, the pressure for success, the invisible chains that hold you back. You can become stronger than you were yesterday simply by learning to let go. Now, look at your life. What is causing your anxiety? Are you worrying about something whose outcome you cannot control? Ask yourself, do I have control over this? If the answer is no, then let it go. Focus on what you can do now. That is something no one can take away from you. And that is where your true power lies. We have explored 7 principles to strengthen the mind and grow through Stoic philosophy. But knowledge alone holds no power if it remains stagnant in your mind. It only becomes strength when put into practice. You can allow life to carry you, letting fear, failure, and the expectations of others dictate your path. Or you can take control and choose to live according to your own values. Life will test you. There will be days when you feel like you've hit rock bottom. But it is in those moments that you shape who you truly are. Strength does not mean never falling. It means getting up every time you stumble. And if you can master your mind, nothing in this world will be able to break you. If you connected with what we discussed today, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving valuable content that will help you grow even further. And if you found this useful, share this video with someone you believe could also benefit from these reflections. Together, we can spread these ideas and reach more people seeking to live with greater purpose and balance. See you in the next video.